luistert naar Songwriters Guild Live op Amsterdam FM. Vandaag in de studio is Sonja Agata Biscan. Ze is een singer, songwriter en multi-instrumentalist die momenteel hier in Nederland studeert. We gaan zo meteen met haar praten over haar muziek. Maar nu eerst haar openingsnummer Pianoman. Take it away.
Started with a jam session. Before knowing his name, I just went to the stage and we played. And though he didn't tell me his name, he introduced himself in some other way. By the way that he played and the chords that he chose, by his lovely jazzy clothes and the cute little nose, the piano man. The piano man. Don't remember any other name, any other man except for the piano man. It all started with a few chords. I didn't think it would work out, of course, but I just stood at the stage and we played. Though he didn't tell me his name, he introduced himself in some other way. By the way that he played and the chords that he chose, by his lovely jazzy clothes and a cute little nose, the piano man, the piano man. Don't remember any other name, any other man except for the piano man. Just to hear his name, though it was very impolite, I forgive him, 'cause his introduction was alright. The way that he played and the chords that he chose, his lovely jazzy clothes and the cutest little nose, the piano man, the piano man. Don't need any other name, any other man except for the piano man. I mean, who needs a bass player when you got a nice piano man? Don't need any other man, don't need any other name except for the piano man.
Pianoman door Sonja Agata Biscan. I would like to invite you over to the table for just a few minutes so we can talk about you and your music. Now, you were born in Zagreb, Croatia.
Yes, I was.
And, well, long story short, obviously, now you're studying here. You're studying something that isn't the most obvious first step for a musician, namely international and European law in The Hague.
Yes, I do study international and European law, and I know it doesn't really make sense, but...
Well, I didn't say that.
Well, that's how I interpreted it. But in my mind, it's actually quite connected, because the reason why I started making music was to leave something, to spread my message, and it seemed like the easiest, most pleasant way for me. And now I think that possibly there are more effective ways of influencing the society, and apart from music, you can do it also in a more formal way, which is why law is equally as appealing to me at the moment.
All right, so you have two different pathways to make a mark, to have a positive influence on the society. That's basically how you see it.
Yes, well, sometimes I guess it's not that positive, but I do try to make positive impact. Yeah, that's true.
Why wouldn't it be positive?
Well, I don't know. You know, sometimes things don't work out, so I think that's life.
You mean in music or in law?
In life.
In life, all right.
Yeah.
What have you always had that urge to make that difference, to have that impact?
I think I did. There were several situations in my life where I thought I would give up on that, but I realized that then I'm also affected by what I want to change, and that I become a part of that negativity, or just not the imperfect world that I do want to affect in a better way.
And you started, started a while ago with music. I think you've been doing it for a long time, but also in terms of formal training, you've had training in singing, vocals, you have had training in flute as well, piano obviously, and then I just found it an interesting course after the vocal performance into law, but it's actually a pretty good point. And so we were talking before the show a little bit about the music scene here. You asked me about that, and the music scene in Croatia. You haven't found much. You don't know that much about the music scene in the Netherlands yet because you haven't been here long. But tell us a little bit about how it is over there.
Well, I think it's really hard being, especially being an independent artist in Croatia, because of course there is this 1% of artists who do make a living out of it, and it's actually mostly producers and mostly the people whose names we don't necessarily know, or at least not the audience, but they are famous among musicians and singers, and of course, if you're a well-known singer, you'll go to this producer, and in fact, producers are the people who make the most money. But if we ignore the money part, I think it's still pretty hard because there are not as many places to perform as I think there are here, or maybe in some other countries. So I think it's not easy being a musician in Croatia.
All right. Well, even here, I'd say that there tend to be less places to perform than you would want there to be. And it also changes, of course. I mean, different musical disciplines. Sometimes, about 10 years ago, the Amsterdam Songwriters Guild started organizing open mics for musicians in Amsterdam, for example. And that led to more places having live music and also acoustic live music by independent artists. But that has also, well, I don't know if it's become less, but the scene has become less cohesive, I feel. And I think that's also an important part here, when you have a cohesive scene of musicians who work together in building a community and a scene and places to play and organizing it well, that can make a big difference. So I guess I'm asking, have you in Croatia experienced musicians getting together and trying to organize an independent scene that still works?
Well, I think there were several attempts during my stay in Croatia, which was actually quite a long time ago now when I think of it, because the last time I was actively performing there was about 2 years ago. But yeah, I remember several attempts, especially in the jazz scene, because I think that it's the smallest or the most ignored scene that is actually, in my opinion, the most beautiful one, because the musicians are really extraordinary. So it's a pity that they don't get more audience and more places to play and more just chances in general. And I actually don't remember those attempts ending well. Actually, there were couple of performances, couple of jam sessions, and just several times they tried to organize something, but not necessarily, it didn't work in a long-term way.
And you also, you studied in Poland, and I mean, it's also interesting to hear about the music scene there, but I also want to ask you about your own music, because you released your first single, I believe, in 2013. And that went on to get a lot of response. It was, it had some international recognition from what I've seen.
Well, I was lucky with that song. I applied for several competitions, and I won one really big one in Croatia. I mean, it gave me, I think, the most recognition, at least in terms of producers and the scene that I just talked about. And later on, with the same song, I applied for a festival in Poland. So I was able to performed there as well with the same song, which I thought was really cool because that was actually, I think, maybe not the very first song I created, but among the first ones. And it actually started as an instrumental because I really wanted to express myself and my feelings, and I couldn't find the right words. And words came much, much, much later. And then it turned out to be, I guess, a good song, or at least it was recognized as a good song.
And that's the song in English. It's called For a Moment.
Yes.
And
yes.
Are you also going to be playing that today?
Yes, I will be.
Ah, interesting. So we have that to look forward to, and other songs
Yeah, but
as well.
now I, made a big intro, and what if it's going to suck at the radio?
I don't see why it would.
Well, we'll see.
We'll find out. We're also going to talk a bit more later in the show, but we're also going to make room for live music. So in a few minutes, we're going to be hearing your next song. It's very good to have you here. Meanwhile, you're listening to Songwriters Guild Live. We luisteren nu naar een nummer van een artiest die een paar weken geleden nog hier speelde. Toen hadden we Eo Awoshika en Megan Bird in de uitzending. Dit is Megan Bird met In a Minute.
I've been watching